Games Workshop came out with a statement recently on the Warhammer community page entitled "The Imperium is driven by hate, Warhammer is not." And I thought it brought up an interesting contradiction that's been bugging me for some time, so let's get into it. First, let's dig into the article on the Warhammer community page itself. There are no goodies in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. None. Especially not the Imperium of Man. Its numberless legions, soldiers, and zealots bludgeon their way across the galaxy, delivering death to anyone and anything that doesn't adhere to their blinkered view of purity. Almost every man and woman toils in misery either on the battlefield, where survival is measured in hours, or in the countless manufactorums and hive slums that fuel the Imperial war machine. All of this in slavish servitude to the living corpse of a god emperor whose commandments are at best only half remembered, twisted by time and the fallibility of humanity. Warhammer 40,000 isn't just grimdark, it's the grimmest, darkest. Okay, I can't help but feel like this message is somewhat undercut by the Warhammer community page using images like this and this. Obviously, these grinning, chummy cartoon characters aren't the grimmest, darkest things that one could imagine. I'm not sure why they've started doing these cartoon characters on the Warhammer community page, but it does seem to be a deliberate choice and a deliberate part of the brand identity of the Warhammer community page. It feels like an understandable attempt to make the page more welcoming to people of all age groups, including and especially children, but it also kind of feels like an attempt to sanitize the IP and distance themselves from the grim darkness that they mentioned above. But we'll get into this more later. Let's keep going with the article. The Imperium of Man stands as a cautionary tale of what could happen should the very worst of humanity's lust for power and extreme unyielding xenophobia set in. Like so many aspects of Warhammer 40,000, the Imperium of Man is satirical. For clarity, satire is the use of humor, irony, or exaggeration, displaying people's vices or a system's flaws for scorn, derision, and ridicule. Something doesn't have to be wacky or laugh-out-loud funny to be satire. The derision is in the setting's amplification of a tyrannical, genocidal regime turned up to 11. The Imperium is not an aspirational state, outside of the in-universe perspectives of those who are slaves to its systems. It's a monstrous civilization, and its monstrousness is plain for all to see. Okay, fair enough, but let's contrast this with how Games Workshop describes the Ultramarines on the first battle report of their new streaming service, Warhammer Plus. I would play the clip for you, but Games Workshop is notoriously overzealous about their copyright claims, so I'll just read the transcript for you. The Ultramarines are the exemplars of everything it means to be Adeptus Astartes. Noble, honorable, and utterly dedicated to the defense of humanity and the Emperor's realm. These post-human warriors fight not only for victory, but for a future for the human race. So I'm having a bit of trouble reconciling the descriptions of utterly dedicated to the defense of humanity with the other description from the article. The Imperium of Man stands as a cautionary tale of what could happen should the very worst of humanity's lust for power and extreme unyielding xenophobia set in. Now, Games Workshop does provide a caveat sentence. The Imperium is not an aspirational state outside of the in-universe perspectives of those who are slaves to its systems. So I suppose you could make the argument that every time you see Space Marines described as heroic, that you are in fact digesting in-world Imperial propaganda. But I would argue that that argument is pretty thin as well. I mean, they do have an entire range of models called Space Marine Heroes. So if it says heroes on the package, and you have to navigate to an obscure page on the Warhammer community site or read a novel to get the full picture that this is in fact a dystopia with no good guys, I would argue that this is a pretty mixed message. The rest of the statement is a denunciation of hate and prejudice and hate groups in the hobby, and I agree with all of that. I am of the opinion that this hobby is a great way to interact with people of all stripes that you might otherwise not have had a chance to interact with. And it represents an opportunity to strengthen our shared bonds of humanity through a common interest. It is not a place for political statements or for showing your allegiance to radical ideology. With that said, the Warhammer IP is a mix of military history and a hodgepodge of science fiction and fantasy worlds. It's unsurprising that it's inherited some of the messy ideological themes and complex baggage of its origins. At the end of the day, Games Workshop finds themselves in the position of selling war to children, and it's hard to keep your hands clean when you're doing that. The idea that Games Workshop has never presented the Space Marines as the good guys or protagonists, even if flawed protagonists, is, to be honest, laughable, and I can prove it. Let's take a look at the last 5 Warhammer starter sets and see how the Space Marines and the Imperium are described on the box itself. These boxes are targeted at brand new players, so it's reasonable to expect that this would be somebody's first interaction with the Warhammer universe and first bit of knowledge about that universe. First up is the Battle for Mccrag. Immerse yourself in the grim darkness of the far future with the Battle for Mccrag. Fight battles between the glorious Ultramarines and their most vicious foes, the Tyranids, as they clash on the Ultramarines' homeworld. Okay, so we have the glorious Ultramarines and vicious foes. I think it's safe to say without further context that this presents the Ultramarines as the good guys. Next up, Assault on Blackreach. In the grim darkness of the far future, mankind teeters on the brink of extinction. There is no time for peace, no respite, no forgiveness, there is only war. This box set allows you to defend the galaxy-spanning Imperium of Man with humanity's ultimate warriors, the Space Marines, or crush all before you with the savage and barbaric orcs, the most warlike aliens in the 41st millennium. Okay, so the theme here is mankind defending itself against savage barbaric aliens. Now, I haven't seen the stats, but I think the vast majority of individuals who bought this box were in fact human. So I think it's reasonable to say that humanity's ultimate warriors are presented as the good guys here. Next up, Dark Vengeance. Dark Angels versus Chaos Space Marines. It is 40,000 years in the future, and mankind is beset on all sides by horrifying alien attackers. Warhammer 40,000 puts you in command of a force of mighty warriors, lumbering armored vehicles, and hordes of implacable aliens. With armies of Citadel miniatures, you will wage war over a tabletop battlefield, unleashing torrents of fire, darkening the skies above the battle with flyers, and smashing aside your enemies with chain axes and power swords. So this one is maybe the closest to being neutral, but it still presents humanity as beset on all sides by horrifying alien attackers. That and the fact that the 2 factions in this box are Space Marines and Space Marines possessed by demons, I think it's fair to say who the good guys are. Next, Dark Imperium. Across the war-torn battlefields of the 41st millennium, mankind battles for survival against myriad horrifying foes. Okay, again we have mankind battling for survival and myriad horrible foes. It's pretty clear. But if it wasn't clear enough, they also describe Primaris Space Marines as mankind's greatest heroes. Mark it. And last up is Indomitus. Across the war-torn battlefields of the 41st millennium, the Imperium of mankind battles to survive in a galaxy torn asunder by the hellish Great Rift. The Imperium's armies fight on countless far-flung worlds against heretics, aliens, and demons. As humanity's Indomitus crusade fleets rush to relieve thousands of battle-riven planets, ancient Xenos horrors prey on the fractured Imperium. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. So here's interesting, we have a little bit of a gray area. The mention of heretics kind of implies that religious dogma is a reason for the endless war, which is, pretty dystopian. But we have to kind of keep in mind that they also mention demons. And in a world where demons are physical things that you fight with a gun and a sword, it kind of changes the role of religion in society a little bit. But beyond that, we have Xenos preying on the fractured Imperium, which of course makes mankind seem like the defenders, and somebody defending themselves is usually the one justified in a violent situation, if not the person that you can relate to more. Again, it's all told from the perspective of the Imperium. It's very hard to argue that the Imperium are not the protagonists and that they have in fact been portrayed in a light that would give you the impression that this article is giving off, and that's my issue. Now, I often hear this hypothetical anecdote thrown around about a kid going into a Games Workshop and saying, "Oh, who are the good guys? Who are the bad guys?" And somebody's saying, "We don't do that here. Everybody's the bad guy." But are kids really doing this? I mean, it seems pretty obvious who the good guys and the bad guys are. We're conditioned as a society to see a handsome guy in blue and think he's the good guy, especially when he's against a spiky guy in dark armor or a ravening monster or a brutish alien that's described as the most violent alien in the galaxy. I mean, this isn't rocket science here. There are subversions of this trope, but each time it's done with the assumption that we are supposed to assume that these are the good guys. Now, this isn't the first time that soldiers have been turned into sanitized, cartoony versions of themselves to make themselves more appealing to children. This is done by pretty much every government in the 20th century. It's propaganda. This is how you sell war to children. This is how you recruit soldiers. This is how you make war appealing to kids. Games Workshop is using a sleight of hand here. By referencing in-world Imperial propaganda, they're drawing attention away from the fact that their marketing is so heavily steeped in wartime propaganda. People in real life don't enlist in wars for the grim darkness of it. They don't enlist after reading All Quiet on the Western Front or looking at some of the art of Otto Dix. Many soldiers aren't ever exposed to the grim horrors of war until they're deployed and witness these horrible things for themselves. Consciously or not, Games Workshop is doing the same thing. The outward marketing of Warhammer sanitizes and glorifies war. And the Space Marines are absolutely presented as the good guys or heroes. It's only when you dig a little deeper that you see the grim darkness underneath. And honestly, I think it's commendable that Warhammer shows war for what it is. War is hell. If kids grow up to find that the Ultramarines that they thought were one-dimensional Marvel heroes actually serve an Imperium that's morally questionable or even outright evil, perhaps they'll think more critically about the nature of war in real life, and I think that's a good thing. I'm curious to know what you guys think. Should Warhammer sanitize the Imperium even further to make the good guys obviously good so there's no moral confusion? Should they introduce the evil aspects of the Imperium more clearly and more early, or is it fine the way it is? So let me know down in the comments below. Be good to each other, guys, and we'll see you next time on Eric's Hobby Workshop.